to Miami.
What it do, YouTube? Obviously, like I said before, that I'm back. But when I was gone, I really took a serious look at the analytics and what people actually like to watch. And when it came down to it, like basically the whole reason why we're all here on the page is mostly the sports, the football, sports talk and everything. And considering how the Miami Dolphins season is over, I don't want to give that this Friday. I really don't want to give this Friday. Plus, I'll just never get tired of saying it's that time of week again. So we're gonna start this new segment called I don't even know what the segment's gonna be called, but basically it's just gonna be about just NFL headlines that may have gone down that week, and gives you guys an opportunity to actually leave questions in the comment sections. You guys get a little shout out too as well when I read them the next week. Like I try to do it like every Friday, like I've been doing the Miami Dolphins preview and everything. And it's not even just for Miami Dolphins fans. Like I know we got lots of different football fans out there. Unfortunately, Patriots fans. You get the picture. You get the picture. So like, for example, I'm gonna use Money Reed for example. Shout out to you, Money Reed, because every time he ends up commenting on one of the Miami Dolphins videos, he challenges me. Like I have no problem with that, Money Reed. I have no problem with that. He challenges me and like sends me like these six line paragraphs. Like those kind of questions I really like. So like we gonna try to keep it going with that. Like you got just cut loose. Just cut loose, and I will try to cover the topic every single Friday, and I'll try to cover it. Like I'm gonna try to keep the videos down to less than 15 minutes long because I don't want to bore everybody to death. But you know what? I think we're gonna call it. How about we call it NFL Talk? How about we call it NFL Talk? I don't know. But yeah, like I'm trying to work out this whole trying to figure out how to do this whole prize thing. I'm really trying to do some giveaways and surprises for this too as well. So I haven't exactly worked out the kinks yet, but yeah. First NFL Talks, first episode, part 1. What we're going to talk about is basically Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill. Like I botched his name up like the last 2 Miami Dolphins videos. I kept calling him Gassy. Shout out to him. Apologize for that. It's Adam Gase. And I kept on saying that it was a terrible pick for Stephen Ross and Mike Tannenbaum to make. And then after that Joe Philbin headline came out about Ryan Tannehill, then I completely changed my tune here. Like if you guys don't know, Joe Philbin came out and basically said that after Ryan Tannehill's rookie season, which was 2013, he came out and said that he wanted to get Derek Carr in the very next draft. Now, here's the thing that really bugs me about the whole situation was the fact that when Joe Philbin became the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he drafted Ryan Tannehill. So he knew exactly what he was getting when he was drafting Ryan Tannehill. Even hired Ryan Tannehill's ex-head coach from Texas A&M, Mike Sherman. So he knew exactly what he was doing. So like that part right there really confuses me. Now, when he sat back and said that he wanted to draft Derek Carr right after that season, and like the head, like a beat writer for the Miami Dolphins, I don't know exactly what his name is, he came out and basically was like, Joe Philbin wanted to draft Derek Carr, and he said it days before the draft. Like the things when it comes down to the whole drafting thing is the fact it takes the whole year to evaluate players. You just can't just like sway off your draft board just because one person decides they want to do it. And it's the fact that it's Joe Philbin, the fact that he drafted Ryan Tannehill, and you want to switch it up 1 year after you just became a head coach. And not to mention Ryan Tannehill had no weapons that year. I remember exactly what happened that year. Traded away Brandon Marshall. We ended up signing Chad Johnson. Cut Chad Johnson. So like you basically just gave Tannehill every reason to fail that year, but he posted up some pretty decent numbers. But the whole other thing was the fact that even when he did, after he said all that, was the fact that we ended up hiring Bill Lazor as our offensive coordinator that same year, which was really like, if Joe Philbin had the nerve to sit back and say that, he has no faith in Ryan Tannehill behind closed doors, which really also explains exactly why he didn't defend him when the media asked Joe Philbin in a press conference, is Ryan Tannehill your starter going into the game against Oakland in London? He didn't even answer the question. He didn't even defend Ryan Tannehill. So basically everything all makes sense about the situation. But back going to the whole Bill Lazor thing, like, what example are you setting from the Joe Philbin standpoint to the offensive coordinator when you're basically saying that I did not want him, I wanted Derek Carr? Like, you basically have no faith in the quarterback. Like, how do you expect a person to perform if you're basically don't even want the guy in the building? Like, that doesn't sit well. That doesn't sit well with me. Like, how could you do such a thing? Really, how could you do such a thing? And like, for Ryan Tannehill, honestly, his numbers ain't that bad. Like, I've seen some terrible numbers. Like, if y'all diehard Miami Dolphins fans out there been through the worst of times for the Miami Dolphins, y'all have seen some pretty damn terrible quarterbacks. And I can name a couple off the top of my head: John Beck, Cleo Lemon, all those terrible quarterbacks that you don't even see in the league anymore. All those terrible quarterbacks. So compared to Ryan Tannehill, Tannehill's a goddamn all-star. He's literally a goddamn all-star. But like Joe Philbin, like, how, like, literally, what do you think that you're doing to Ryan Tannehill's self-esteem as a player and as a person? Like, literally, how could you go? I understand how you could be a quarterback and you go out and play for a coach that don't even want you to be there. Like, that don't make no sense. So after that whole situation, I literally sat back and thought about it. I was like, I'm pretty sure Stephen Ross and Mike Tannenbaum knew exactly what was going on with the whole Joe Philbin situation. And like, I was like, okay, Adam Gase, that's a pretty good idea, going with Adam Gase, considering how he was able to fix Jay Cutler. And if we want to put this in medical terms, if Jay Cutler got Ebola, Ryan Tannehill must have the cold. Because it don't get no worse as a starting quarterback than Jay Cutler. Literally, I kept on saying it all the time. The fact that Jay Cutler has all the talent in the world, has the arm, has the IQ, the intelligence to be a great quarterback. I don't know what's going on with him, but Adam Gase seemed to be able to fix Jay Cutler. I guess we will see exactly what happens next year with Jay Cutler, but he was able to make him look like something. But yeah, like, as far as the whole Ryan Tannehill situation, like, I'm excited for Adam Gase, because he specifically said he's gonna take Ryan Tannehill under his wing. He's gonna be working specifically with him and holding his hand. Like, that's exactly what you want to hear, is if you're Ryan Tannehill, because basically after what has been going on in his tenure in Miami, it just seems like Joe Philbin just ain't give a fuck about him. Didn't even care about him. Jesus, man. Like, you really can't get mad at Ryan Tannehill now after you hear this mess, man. Like, after you hear all this, like, you really gotta take a step back and be like, yo, like, Ryan Tannehill is actually performing like this, and he had to deal with this. Like, you gotta cut this man some slack. You gotta have a heart for this man. Like, you can't just run the man out of Miami like this. Is he's putting his body on the line every year and basically taking all these hits, getting sacked, like you ain't not even protecting him. And there you go, Joe Philbin. What can I say, Joe Philbin? But this another thing was the fact that listening to the media sometimes, they are so misleading, because looking at, like, I watched basically every single Miami Dolphins game the past 2 seasons. And then today I looked at my Ryan Tannehill stats. So last year, 2014, Ryan Tannehill had 586 passing attempts, 363 completions. No, yeah, last year. This is last year, 2015. Sorry. 586 passing attempts, 363 completions, and 61 completion percentage, with 4,208 yards passing, averaging 7.2 yards per pass. 263 yards a game, 24 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Now, 2014, he had 590 attempts, 392 completions, 66.4 completion percentage, 4,445 passing yards, averaging 6.9 yards per attempt, 252 yards a game, 27 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So, like, when I step back and look at this, like, was the fact that basically Ryan Tannehill this past season, everybody can admit that he had no running game, didn't have no offensive line. And, like, people say that Ryan Tannehill basically took a step back. I don't see that. I see, as far as the eye test, I see that he's progressed. Maybe he's passed for 200 more yards than last year, has the same amount of interceptions. Maybe he has less touchdowns. But based off what I have seen from Ryan Tannehill this season, like, the man is throwing the deep ball now. Like, people tend to forget is the fact that Ryan Tannehill struggled throwing the deep ball every year except for this past year. Like I said, he looked pretty damn good throwing that deep ball. And a lot of people want to sit back and blame Ryan Tannehill for not connecting with Mike Wallace down the field. I think that's just Mike Wallace. Honestly, that was Mike Wallace the past 2 seasons in Miami. So, like, I see an improvement in Ryan Tannehill, considering all the things that Ryan Tannehill had to deal with these past 2 seasons. Just don't be greedy. I'm just gonna say, don't be greedy, Miami Dolphins fans, because honestly, let me put this in. I'll give you another example. Let's think of the Philadelphia Eagles fans, for instance. As many times they sat back and booed Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid, like, look at the Philadelphia Eagles now. Like, they're struggling to have a quarterback. How many quarterbacks have they had in the last 6 seasons? They had like 4 or 5 quarterbacks. At least Donovan McNabb got hurt a lot, but at least he was able to take you to the playoffs every single season. He was starting every single season. So, like, with that being said, Miami Dolphins fans, for instance, like, come on, like, just be patient. Like, you already knew what we was gonna get ourselves into when we ended up drafting Ryan Tannehill. Nobody had a problem with it back then when we drafted him. So let's not have a problem with it now. He ain't chucking up interceptions. He ain't committing a whole bunch of turnovers. He just like they said, he's raw. He is raw. So, like, take your time with him. Take your time. Like, we got time. He's showing time, showing progression. We ain't fighting for no playoff spot yet, but hey, he's putting up a fight. Now, with that being said, the next topic I wanted to talk about was the 2016 corner free agency list. I looked at quite a few of these cornerbacks on the list, and I want to share them with you. Sean Smith, obviously, Kansas City Chiefs, former Miami Dolphin. Brandon Boykin, there was a rumor in the offseason that the Miami Dolphins were actually trying to make a trade for him, for Deion Jordan, considering how Deion Jordan came from Oregon. Chip Kelly loves Oregon players, and Chip Kelly was just giving away players anyway. So, like, that seemed like an excellent pick. Like, they was talking about Michael Kendricks and Brandon Boykin as a package deal for just Deion Jordan. I was like, yo, we got to take that trade. And sure enough, bam, Deion Jordan got suspended. Fuck. He got suspended. So then we were like, I was like, damn, we was about to get a 2-for-1 right there. We were about to get a 2-for-1. But Brandon Boykin, I like Brandon Boykin as a quarter because, like, he's real feisty, just like a Brent Grimes, but he almost as athletic, but he doesn't play on the outside. He plays in the nickel, and, like, he hasn't exactly had that true opportunity to play on the outside as an outside corner. I want to see that. I really want to see that. Tremaine Johnson coming from the St. Louis Rams. I don't understand how he got snubbed out of the Pro Bowl. Man had 7 picks. And, like, we'll get to the Pro Bowl in a second. But Malcolm Butler got picked over him. Malcolm Butler only had 2 picks. Malcolm Butler plays for the New England Patriots. He's the one that had the interception sealing the game with an interception in the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. We'll put it away. We had 2 picks, but Tremaine Johnson played like a shutdown corner last year. Had 7 picks. So, like, that's the top corner free agent right there. Janoris Jenkins, obviously, for the St. Louis Rams as well. Prince Amukamara, kind of sus with me because he gets injured, can't play all 16 games. Josh Norman, can stay his ass. He can stay his ass in Carolina, because honestly, I am not a fan of cover 3 corners. I'm not, and like the persona of a shutdown corner has just been tarnished, and it's so disrespectful to all these corners that play straight up man to man on the best wide receiver, no matter where they are on the field. It just tarnishes the persona of them, because like when you play cover 3, which Josh Norman does, Richard Sherman does. When you play cover 3, you're basically playing 10 yards off the wide receiver, and you're just backpedaling back, and you just making sure nobody runs by you. That's not you being a shutdown corner. A shutdown corner is basically like the Patrick Petersons, the Joe Haydens, the Darrell Reeveses, sometimes Brent Grimes. Unlike this year, the Brent Grimes and the Chris Harris. Like they basically own that wide receiver's hip. They're following him around all around the field. Deep, mid-range, short range, don't matter. Slant route, streak, don't matter. They are following him all around the field. So with that said, Josh Norman, in my honest opinion, is not a shutdown corner. And like if he ends up leaving Carolina, I feel like he's going to be exposed. Just like he's going to be exposed this Sunday. He's going to be exposed this Sunday. Morris Claiborne, obviously, first round pick for the Dallas Cowboys in 2012. I think him getting a change of scenery will be able to give him the opportunity to shine as a corner. Patrick Robinson, I talked about him in my Miami Dolphins free agency video. I feel that he's an excellent under the radar corner as well. First round pick for the New Orleans Saints, didn't work out with them. And also Kyle Wilson got drafted by the New York Jets, did work out with them when they ended up getting Antonio Cromartie. And Darrell Reeves, don't understand how that didn't work out. Like, he has all the talent in the world to play, but goodness gracious. And last but not least, we had two more. Got Leon Hall. Man's getting up there in age. Came out in the same draft as Darrell Reeves. Getting up there in age. Not exactly an outside corner, but I like him. He's a physical corner. Really like him. He's a physical corner. Getting up there in age, and basically I would say is as good as a nickel corner. Pac-Man Jones, man, still has the talent. I see him playing lights out like all this year. Play lights out all this year. So, like I said, this free agency class for the cornerbacks for 2016 free agency is deep as hell. It is deep. It is real deep. Now, last but not least, I wanted to talk about the Pro Bowl. They just recently added Brandon Albert and Jarvis Landry to the Pro Bowl ballot list. Like, honestly, how exactly do the people vote for offensive linemen for the Pro Bowl? Because if people are voting for the likes of Malcolm Butler, no disrespect to y'all, the subs and other football fans out there, but how exactly do you vote for offensive linemen? That doesn't make any sense to me. So like I said before, like I'm gonna try to do the NFL talk once a week every Friday, so I get an opportunity to say it's that time of week again. But hit the comment box. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You know what it is. It's Great One DeVore. I'm up out of here.